So you guys, I've already posted the video of Nix functions, but let's see if I can. No, here. I'm gonna record the part 2. What the section I was reading. I think, let's see here. Learning, go to Nix. Okay. Here I have the multiple arguments, right? Here. I've already covered this section. Now let's see attribute set argument. Also known as keyword arguments or destructuring. It's a concept present in TypeScript, right? Some other languages. Nix functions can be declared to require an attribute set with specific structure as argument. This is denoted by listing the expected attribute names separated by commas and enclosed in braces. Okay. Here it's returning lambda. Basically, is the function as it is, right? The argument defined. So when we define a Flake file, we call it. So it's returning lambda. Not a Flake, but a NixOS Nix syntax, normal syntax. It's being called by Flake. So I think we write as it. The argument defines the exact attributes that have to be in that set, leaving out or passing additional attributes in error. Example let. So here I'm passing A and B and receiving it in the lambda function f, right? Let's test this. It's giving 3, right? As in the documentation here. Counter example. So you can give 3 arguments, is not that dynamic, right? The full values, also known as the full arguments. The structured arguments can have the full values for attributes. This is denoted by separating the attribute name and its the full value with a question mark. It's a bit confusing because the question mark is it means other things in other languages. Like I think in Kotlin we use question mark for an argument, in argument that's could be no, right? Here is just the default value. I think it's not really good, this syntax, but let's see. So all the default values are 0 of this function, and if I give an empty attribute set, it just returns 0. Let's test this. So if I give 1 as the full value, now it returns 1. Alright. Additional attributes. Additional attributes are followed with an ellipsis. I think it's called some other names in other languages too. Unlike in the previous counter example, passing an argument that contains additional attributes is not an error. So we need to give the ellipsis. Okay. Let's see here. This is an example here. Given the ellipsis, I'm returning 3, right? Here it keeps returning 3 and not adding the additional arguments. So how can I access these additional arguments and add this to the content of the return? I don't know. I mean, named attribute set argument, also known as I don't really know how to talk this. I think it's an symbol, pattern, syntax, or syntax. It's calling here, right after the symbol, also known as pattern or syntax, right? An attribute set argument can be given a name to be accessible as a whole. Okay. He is giving args as the name of the attribute set, and so I think it's like that. I can access the ellipsis arguments, additional arguments. So let's copy some code blocks here. So let's create this function, and it's returning lambda. I don't want to test it. Lambda, just returning lambda is not outputting anything. Let's pick this as example. A, B, and C giving as arguments. We are naming this as args. What Nixo as named attribute set argument. Okay, it's straightforward, right? It's just naming. Colon A plus B plus args dot C. Here we are accessing the C argument. Let's test. 6. Okay, that's I was expecting. So after that, function libraries. In addition to the built-in operators plus double equal, double, I don't know how to talk this really. In Portuguese we talk commercial e
and,
just and. So the and operator. There are two widely used libraries that together can be considered standard for the Nix language. We need to know about the both to understand and navigate Nix language code. recommend to at least skim them and familiarize yourself with what is available. So, built-ins, also known as primitive operators or primops. Nix comes with many functions that are built into the language. They are implemented in C++ as part of the Nix language interpreter. Interpreter. I don't really know. The Nix manual lists all built-in functions and show how to use them. Okay. Let's hover quickly. It's a lot of built-in, right? It's just a Bible. Right. It's quite large. These functions are available under the built-in constant. Built-in is toString. Okay. So I can access this. Import. Most built-in functions are only accessible through built-ins. A notable exception is import. Oh, it's a built-in, but you can just use it right away, right? Which is also available at the top level. Import takes a path to a Nix file, reads it to evaluate the contained Nix expression and returns the resulting value. If the path points to a directory, the file default.nix is in that directory is used instead. So import file.nix just returns the result of this expression, right? 1 plus 2, so importing will give 3 as return. Okay. So it's really evaluating the inner content, right? It can return lambda, it can return a number, anything. It will be the content of evaluation of this file. Since Nix file can contain any Nix expression, imported functions can be applied to arguments immediately. That is, whenever you find additional tokens after a call to import, the value it returns should be a function, and anything that follows are arguments to that function. So here the file will have this content, so I can pass the arguments right away, right? X is the argument for this lambda, and it will return the number value, right? So I think I've covered a lot here. Let's see if there's something more interesting here. Package.lib. The Nix package repository contains an attribute set called lib, which provides a large number of useful functions. They are implemented in the Nix language as opposed to built-ins, which are part of the language itself. So it's a native code, right? And native Nix code, not an external C++ code. These functions are usually accessed through package.lib, as the Nix packages attribute set is given the name package by convention. So here here packages, import Nix packages. I think here is the attribute set given as argument to the import statement. So it's become more clear what Nix is doing for me. So it's accessing package.label.strings to uppercase and returning our uppercased string, right? Interesting. So the video is it. The next section is impurities and so on.